My name is Sal DiVita. I'm the visual director on Psi-Ops. I'm responsible for the artwork and just the presentation of the game itself and a lot of the animations and so forth. We're going to show you a little bit of kind of what this game is about. This game utilizes a type of gameplay that really hasn't been investigated thoroughly in video games before. I'll let you watch a little bit of this for right now. This is Nick Scryer. He's our main character.
Nick, calm down.
He's trapped in an enemy organization. He's been actually planted there by his superiors to infiltrate this organization, and he's being held by a double agent inside. Nick is basically he's the highest trained Psi agent that our government organization has, but Nick has been mind wiped to infiltrate this organization because they also utilize Psi powers. They have mind probes to detect these Psi powers, so he had to be wiped in order to infiltrate this organization. So we're starting off in a jail cell, and we're going to try to escape this place. Okay, so we started off kind of just with a silenced pistol here, and our Psi powers. Normally in the game, you wouldn't start off with your Psi powers, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm starting them off so that we can have some fun. One of the first powers I'll show you is a power called telekinesis. That's the ability to lift up objects with your mind and move them around, and I'll show you an example of it. Here, you can target kind of any object here, pick it up, and you can see that I can move things around and place them up, down, wherever. Take objects and throw them into walls, causing, I guess, distractions, drawing guards nearby. This guy just kind of heard me here. I can now take him and throw him into this explosive barrel and blow him up. Again, telekinesis is pretty powerful. The ability to move things around with your mind and throw things around. I'll show you more of that later. Now I'm in a little firefight here. I can choose to use my regular pistol if I want to, but that's not going to be very effective. I'm going to get my machine gun here, of course, and shoot this guy, and then pick him up and teach him a lesson. Throw him into some barrels there, kind of torment this guy's body, kick him around a little bit afterwards. You can see our physics system is pretty sophisticated here. We use a hybrid of the Havoc 2 physics system. It's been optimized for our game, but you can see that ragdoll physics are very realistic, as you'll see the rest of the physics in this game are realistic. Another power I'd like to show you is something called remote view. And that's the ability to see through doors or see into rooms that you can't quite get to or you may not want to get to. Remote view allows you to kind of walk through almost undetected and kind of see into areas and kind of spy on guys and spy on a room and kind of visualize its threats and visualize maybe a plan of attack of how to get through this area. You can see what enemies' patterns are and what their paths are, and kind of use that information best you can to get through that level. So knowing that, I'm going to go through this door. It'll show me a quick movie here. The story of this game is told through the series of these FMV cuts. There are about 55 minutes of FMV that we have in the movie. They're in small, tolerable snippets throughout the game, and again, it's a very interesting story. So I'll skip through this one here. Okay, so now that I know I have these three guys there, I'd rather not go in there and start a big firefight, 3 against 1. I'm going to get pretty hurt. So I think one of the safest ways to do it is by using another power called mind control. That's the ability to take over somebody else's mind with your mind. So I'll target a guy and I'll mind control him. And as you can see now, I have control of this guy. I can run him around amongst my fellow soldiers here, and they don't realize that I've been taken over. They think I'm no threat until, of course, I start shooting them. And of course, they're not into that. So now they're aware that I'm an enemy, and they shoot at me, they shoot back at me, but I can actually have this guy here, my controlled guy, my host, take as much abuse as I want, even die. It doesn't hurt me. I'm safe up here. And now this guy, I can also just control him as well. And he's my last threat. So what I'll do is, I'll just have him either run over to a barrel and shoot the barrel to explode himself, and that kind of takes care of him. And now I don't have to worry about anybody in there. And you can see I haven't lost any health. I haven't even used any bullets up, so that's kind of a good thing. Again, telekinesis is used to pick up objects, move them around, start maybe move an object that's on fire to another object that maybe might start that object on fire. The fire will propagate to other objects if it's flammable. Or take the flammable objects and throw them at people and start those people on fire. So, actually, one of the cooler things, before I go on to the next power, one of the cooler things about telekinesis, picking things up and moving them around, is the ability to actually move yourself around with telekinesis. And you do that by standing on top of an object and lifting that object up and then moving that object around. And as you can see, this is a technique called TK surfing. TK surfing is cool because you can actually get different vantage points on your level, and you can actually get to areas where you could snipe people or actually climb on top of certain areas that you couldn't normally get to, or actually just surf across a dangerous hazard like an acid pit or something like that. Okay, I'll show you next power here. And again, using your powers in combination is the key here. I'll use remote view to kind of see into here and see what my threats are. I see an enemy out ahead next to an explosive barrel. That's good. Not very safe. I'll open the door up and use a power called pyrokinesis. And that's the ability to throw fire. So I can throw a wall of fire at the guy, light him on fire, and set this whole area ablaze. Now other enemies are there, but I can just go ahead and set them on fire too, or set objects next to them on fire. That explosive barrel just got set on fire. It exploded and blew up a guy that was next to it. Again, using telekinesis along with different powers is important. Light guys on fire, pick them up, and throw them around. I'm out of psi power. That's a good point. Every time I use my psi power, it drains my meter a little bit. As my meter drains, I'll have to replenish it. The way to replenish it is by going up to dead bodies and using a power called mind drain. And that basically sucks the brain energy out of their heads and actually transfers it to mine. As you can see, my psi meter went up a little bit there. I'll go up to this guy, and I'll transfer some of his energy to my energy. And I'll keep doing that. Now, you can drain dead guys and get partial replenishment back, or I can drain a live guy, which is more effective, and get a chunk more, a much greater replenishment back.